A girl was pulling a small cart, and she was getting closer to the wooden house. Two boys rushed out from the opposite door. They tried to persuade the little girl not to go over. At this moment, the small wooden house behind them started moving. The little girl screamed in fright. Suddenly, wooden boards grew out of the ground, lifting the girl up into the air, and the door of the wooden house opened. Stretching out a red blanket, the two boys hurried over and took the opportunity to grab the girl. But the blanket rolled up the small cart. At this moment, the boy's sister was calling them. The wooden house heard the sister's voice and immediately returned to its normal state. This was a strange wooden house. Anything that passed by would be eaten by it. There lived a very fierce old man in the house, who often stopped the nearby children from playing there. Suddenly, the small wooden house spit out a basketball, and the wooden stairs were able to bounce the basketball. What kind of house was this? In order to explore the wooden house, several children made a remote-controlled puppet. The puppet was slowly moving towards the wooden house, and the wooden house detected an object approaching, opened the door, and stretched out a red blanket. At this moment, the patrolling police car happened to arrive, and the policemen came to check. Suddenly, a big tree grabbed them and threw them into the wooden house. Then the big tree reached out its claws and grabbed the small car that was hiding. The children inside the car screamed, and the small wooden house opened its mouth, swallowing the small car into its belly. It was pitch black inside the house, and the little boy saw a photo on the wall. In the photo, there was the old man and a fat woman. They accidentally stepped into a pit. The fat boy almost fell down, and the black-haired boy was thrown around by the blanket. At this moment, the quick-thinking little girl grabbed the chandelier. It turned out the chandelier was the little tongue of the wooden house. The wooden house disgorged stomach acid in disgust and spat the three of them out. Then they began to discuss the story of the fat woman and the old man. What was the relationship between them? The old man told the story of him and the fat woman. It turned out the fat woman was his wife. When they were young, because she was too fat, she was locked in a cage by people. So the old man took her away to a distant place. They came to the suburbs and built their new home. But no matter where they went, people would laugh at them and throw rotten eggs at her. The fat woman was very angry. She picked up an axe and wanted to drive them away, but accidentally fell into a deep pit and was unfortunately buried in cement. After the house was built, the fat woman buried deep underground merged with the house. She guarded her house day and night, not allowing anyone to approach. That's why the old man fiercely stopped people from getting close to the house. Suddenly, the wooden house angrily stood up, revealing a fierce expression. The children were scared and ran away, and the monster house chased after them. The old man threw a brick which hit the monster house and tried to calm the wooden house down. The old man took out a bundle of dynamite, and just as he was about to light it, the monster house suddenly went berserk, grabbed the old man, and was about to eat him. At this critical moment, the fat boy drove over in a digger and pressed down on the monster. The old man was heavily thrown to the ground. The fat boy led the monster house to the deep pit, and the monster house was instantly shattered to pieces. Just when they thought the monster house had disappeared, it suddenly started moving again and became even more ferocious than before. At this moment, the old man handed the dynamite to the boy. Only by throwing the bomb into the chimney could they defeat the monster house. So the boy and the girl climbed up together. The monster house bit the excavator, and the fat boy quickly jumped out of the excavator. At this time, the boy and the girl also reached the top of the monster house. The boy swung to the chimney with a rope, caught the bomb thrown by the girl, and threw it into the chimney of the monster house. It hugged the fat boy tightly and swung to a safe area together. A loud explosion sounded. The monster house was blown to pieces, and everything finally quieted down. The old man lost his house, lost his beloved wife, but he also regained his freedom.